During a warm summer holiday, a 15-year-old robot farmer named George came to stay with his grandparents in a quiet Romanian village. George was tall, clever, and helpful when he wanted to be, but he was also a little lazy. One afternoon, Grandpa Andrei asked him to care for the horses in the old stable. George only agreed when Grandma Ania promised him a warm blueberry pie. Inside the dusty stable, George cleaned the spotted mare, the black foal, and finally the white stallion with the black mane. He laughed at old fairy tales and said that talking horses were only stories for little children. Then the stallion spoke. The stallion and the mare told him that a cruel witch had cursed the foal and stolen its voice. They revealed that the stable was not ordinary at all. It could travel through time. Before nightfall, George learned his mission: defeat the witch without speaking, find her spellbook, and burn it. The witch arrived, wearing a red scarf and a long dark green coat, smiling as if she had waited for him for years. He tried to make him talk, but George answered only with careful nods and the few words he was allowed to say. He invited him inside and gave him a drink mixed with sleepy herbs. The potion made him drowsy, but it did not stop him. When the witch slept upstairs, George took a candle holder and climbed the creaking stairs. At the top, he found a room full of ancient books, wind, shadows, and a locked wooden chest. Inside the chest was a great red spellbook with a golden lock. He ran outside with the book, just as the witch woke and followed him. The witch lit a fire to trap him, but George threw the book into the flames first. When the book burned, George noticed a thorn in the witch's finger and knocked a spark toward it. The witch became kind again. Anointed here. She had once been the good fairy of the forest, until the thorn made her cruel. To heal the foal, the fairy told George to travel to the age of the dacians and find a turquoise-stemmed flower. George returned to the stable and opened the door, hoping only to let in fresh air. But outside he found ancient Dacia, wooden fortresses, mountain fires, and warriors preparing for battle. A Dacian warrior found George and dragged him toward the battlefield, thinking he was late for war. George had no weapon and no wish to fight, so he slipped away through the chaos and climbed a quiet hill. There he remembered his botany lessons and found the healing plant, a large flower with a turquoise stem. The moment he picked it, the stable carried him back. He gave the plant to the black foal, and at last the little horse spoke. When George opened the stable door again, he was back in his grandfather's garden, and the smell of blueberry pie filled the air. From that day on, George still enjoyed pie, but he never laughed at fairy tales again.